Hi guys, and welcome to the next episode of my van build series, and in today's video I'm going to start building the kitchen units. I've already got most of the appliances for my kitchen. I've got my fridge, my 2-burner hob and my sink, so I know the rough dimensions. That's really important before you start building kitchen units. I've got a rough plan of how I want the kitchen to look in my head. I have made a few drawings, but the design's forever changing, so I'm just going to go for it and see how it turns out, and we can adapt and change it as we go. So sticking with the theme of upcycling and recycling materials, I'm going to be building my kitchen base units out of an old wardrobe. I got it as a freebie off of the Facebook marketplace. Little did I realise that it would be a top story flat when I got there, so it was a bit of a mission carrying all these furniture boards down about 6 flights of stairs, so I probably wouldn't do that next time, but I have got lots of materials to work with. The other options would be to buy off-the-shelf kitchen base units, but if you want custom sizes you may have to cut them down anyway and cut the backs out of them to accommodate wheel arches and things like that. So sometimes it's easier to build things from scratch. You could buy sheet materials. I think it was about £80 for the amount of ply that I need to do this. So the basic plan is I'm going to have 3 carcasses, one to house the sink, one to house the fridge and the hob, and then a separate one for storage. So there's going to be 3 units. The whole area will be 1500 wide, and it's going to be a standard height of 900 to the top of the worktop. We're going to have a service void underneath it for taking the pipes to the sink, and we have a kickboard on the front of about 80mm, just so it's got somewhere for your toes to go when you're standing at the kitchen, and then we can work out the rest as we go. So without further ado, let's cut some furniture board down and start building these base units. So I've got this furniture board cut down, so it's 500mm deep by 880 high, and that'll take it up to 900 when I've got my worktop sitting on top of here, because it's only a 20mm worktop. So I'm going to take this piece off here and this piece, as I want the units to sit as close to the wall as possible. And I'm actually going to fix the unit straight to the van. So I want to cut out the wheel arch from my first panel. Alright, I'm also going to notch this out here, so the panel sits right back against the wall. So my first kitchen unit is going to house the fridge, so I need to build a shelf in here. It's going to have a kickboard across the bottom, so I need to make a cutout for the kickboard to go in, and I'll probably use some leftover oak strip for the kickboard, so it'll be about 80mm high. So the fridge is going to sit on the shelf, then it'll have a drawer in here, maybe the cutlery drawer, and then the hob on top. So we need to make it nice and strong with a brace across the back, so we can then fix it to the side of the van, and that way it won't be going anywhere. We'll also fix it down through the floor, so there's no chance of it moving if you're in a crash or anything. Hopefully not. Just marking out and cutting where the kickboards will go. Because the van wall curves, I'm just going to scribe in my panels. So that's that bit scribed in. Now I need to scribe this in because there's a piece of metal here. So the next job will be to cut a groove in this for the shelf to sit in. I got a little bit carried away once I got the router out, so I forgot to explain what I was doing. But basically I routed a groove in each of the panels for the shelf to slot into. I then cut a slot out of the top of the units to take a brace, and also a slot in the back of the unit for another brace, and that's at the right height, so we'll be able to screw it to the side of the van to secure the units in place. I'm going to screw and glue the shelf from the side. I need to make another unit exactly the same as that one, but with a cutout in the shelf for the wheel arch. Let's check to make sure our board fits in the groove. Perfect. I've screwed these two units together, as you can see, and then I've put 3 screws through this brace at the back into the side of the van, into the metal, and same on this one, 3 screws here and 1 out through the side into this beam, which is bolted to the side of the van, so it's very strong. I'll probably put some screws in the bottom as well into the floor, but I'm not going to do that yet. Next, I'm going to cut some panels to go in the back of the cupboards. I could have built the backs into these carcasses, but I wanted to be able to access through here without taking the whole kitchen out, as there's some nuts behind here for the sliding door runner. So let's go cut some ply panels to go in here. I'll then rip it down with a jigsaw close to the line, and then I'll finish it off with the router so it's nice and clean. So I'm putting a 230 volt socket in the back of the cupboard, and that's for the fridge and the hob igniter. As I say, there's a couple of buttons back there for me to screw this panel to, and I've got my plug socket on there for the fridge, and then we can screw that panel in. So that's the back panels screwed in. I've got my 2.5mm Arctic cable run into that 230 volt socket down there, and then that will run up here to the one in the splashback, and then that will go over to the consumer unit. I've got one more base unit to build in here to house the baby Belfast sink. Yes, it's quite heavy, but I've compromised in other areas to keep the weight down. So it's going to have a baby Belfast sink in here, and I need to drop the level down slightly so that the tap can swivel round and it will act as an outdoor shower through this window. And also the windows are quite low, so I still need to be able to open this window, but not too low that it's uncomfortable to do the washing up. So lots of things to think about. Last but not least, thank you for watching. I hope you found value in this content. If you did, please don't forget to give it a like, and if you consider subscribing to the channel, that would be fantastic. If you click the little alarm bell, you'll get notifications when I post new videos, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one where I'll be carrying on building this kitchen. Cheers guys, take care.